Welcome back to the Verdict Zone, where the line between truth and fiction gets so blurry, you need a map to find your way back to reality. Today, we're diving into a story that feels less like a true crime documentary and more like a rejected sitcom pilot. Imagine this: it's the middle of the day, you're home, fast asleep, completely unaware that someone has decided your house is their personal shopping center. A burglar breaks in, ready for a quick score. He tiptoes around, grabbing small, easily pocketable items. He thinks he's being stealthy, a ghost in the daylight. But then, his heart stops. He peeks into a room and sees you, sleeping soundly. Panic floods his system. All his criminal coolness evaporates in an instant. He spins on his heel, bolts for the door, and scrambles out into the street, his heart pounding a drum solo against his ribs. He's made his escape. He got away clean? Or so he thinks. But in his panicked flight, in that mad dash to avoid confrontation, he left behind the one thing no criminal, no matter how amateur, should ever leave at a crime scene. He left his entire identity. This isn't a case of a single fingerprint or a stray hair. This is a level of carelessness that almost feels intentional. He didn't just drop his wallet. He didn't just leave his keys. He abandoned his entire school backpack. A bright, unmistakable, teenager's backpack, sitting right there in the middle of the living room floor. When the homeowner finally wakes up, they stumble out of their room, probably still groggy, and begin to notice things are off. A few small electronics are missing, some loose cash gone from a drawer. The familiar signs of a petty burglary. They call the police, their day ruined, feeling violated and unnerved. And then, they see it. The backpack. Sitting there like an uninvited guest who overstayed their welcome. Curiosity gets the better of them. They cautiously open it up. And what they find inside is a treasure trove, not for the burglar, but for the police. It's a goldmine of evidence. There's homework, with his name neatly written at the top of the page. There are old permission slips and graded papers, some with helpful notes from teachers, others with phone numbers for his parents scribbled in the margins. It's a complete biography of the kid who was just in their house. And then, the piece de resistance, the item that seals his fate, tucked away in a side pocket, his school-issued photo ID. His full name, his date of birth, and a clear, smiling picture staring right back at them. When the police arrive, they start taking the report, going through the standard procedures. The officer is jotting down notes, asking questions about what was stolen, when it might have happened. The victim explains the situation, the missing items, and then, with a tone of utter disbelief, they point to the backpack. The officer walks over, looks inside, and just freezes. You can almost picture the scene, the officer slowly pulling out the homework, then the papers with the phone numbers, and finally, the photo ID. He looks at the picture, then back at the victim, and a slow grin spreads across his face. It's the kind of moment you see in movies, where the detective says, "Well, that was easy." This isn't just a lead, it's the entire case, gift-wrapped and tied with a bow. The officer probably shared a laugh with the homeowner, shaking his head at the sheer, mind-boggling incompetence of their suspect. In the world of criminal investigations, this is a slam dunk. The case is practically closed before the paperwork is even filed. All they have to do is go to the address, maybe call the school, and pick him up. They have his face, his name, his parents' contact info. There is no escape. The suspect is, for all intents and purposes, already caught. The police officer is still there, finishing up the report, securing the backpack as evidence. He's probably thinking this is the easiest arrest he'll make all year, a story he'll be telling his colleagues for weeks. And then, something happens that elevates this story from simple stupidity to the stuff of legend. There's a knock at the door. A hesitant, but definite, knock. The homeowner and the officer exchange a confused look. Who could that be? Maybe a neighbor who saw something? The homeowner walks over, opens the door, and is met with a sight so surreal, it defies all logic. Standing on their doorstep is a young man, looking nervous and fidgety. And his face is instantly, undeniably familiar. It's him. It's the exact same person from the photo ID. The burglar. He hasn't even bothered to change his clothes. He's standing right there, on the porch of the house he just robbed. He peeks past the homeowner, his eyes darting around the room, and then they lock onto the police officer. The officer who is, at that very moment, holding the suspect's own backpack. There's a moment of heavy silence. The homeowner is stunned. The officer is probably fighting the urge to just burst out laughing. And then, the young man, with a voice full of misplaced hope and a staggering lack of self-awareness, asks the question that guarantees his place in the Hall of Fame for failed criminals. He looks the homeowner dead in the eye and asks, "Excuse me, can I have my bag back, please?" He was, of course, arrested on the spot. The officer didn't even have to move. He just had to tell him to turn around and put his hands behind his back. The story made the local news, with police officials quoted as saying it was one of the single dumbest things they had ever witnessed in their entire careers. This isn't just a crime story, folks. This is a masterclass in what not to do. It's a case study in a total, catastrophic failure of basic, fundamental reasoning. Let's really break this down. This goes way beyond a simple mistake made in a moment of panic. This is a complete breakdown in understanding cause and effect. He knew he broke into the house. He knew he fled in a hurry. He knew, with absolute certainty, that he had left his backpack behind. He also had to know that his backpack contained every piece of information anyone would ever need to identify him. His name, his school, his face. And yet, after considering all of these facts, he somehow concluded that the best, most logical course of action was not to run, not to hide, not to lay low and pray they didn't find him. No. He decided the smartest move was to just go back and ask for his incriminating evidence back. Politely. What on earth is going on in a mind like that? Was it just pure, unfiltered panic overriding every rational thought? Or does this point to something deeper, a fundamental inability to connect actions with their inevitable consequences? Is it possible to be so detached from reality that you believe the rules simply don't apply to you? That you can commit a crime, leave your driver's license at the scene, and then just waltz back in and ask for it like you left it at a coffee shop? This is the kind of thinking that fascinates us here at the Verdict Zone. It's a glimpse into a thought process so alien it's almost unbelievable. The most dangerous form of arrogance isn't thinking you're above the law. It's believing you're exempt from the basic logic that governs reality itself. It's the delusion that consequences are optional, that you can just ask for a do-over. So, what's your verdict on this criminal's critical error? Can you even believe he had the audacity to come back? Tell us what you think is going on here. Subscribe to the Verdict Zone, hit that notification bell so you never miss a case, and sound off in the comments with your reaction. We want to hear your judgment. And if you've ever heard a story of unbelievable audacity like this one, share it with us below. Thanks for watching.